So for our first set of speakers, we have a co-founder duo coming up. And Dani and Victoria have been best friends and business partners for more than 14 years, and they have built 3 businesses together. Dani was on the Raptors dance pack, and Victoria was a top 40 finalist for So You Think You Can Dance Canada Season 2. Come on up here, or dance up here, and share your fuck up. I'll give you this one.
All right. Better move this, because they'll definitely be dancing.
This is actually a dance performance.
Just a 12-minute dance performance. It's finally our chance. So thanks for the introduction, Marsha. We're so happy to be here. I'm Victoria. This is Dani. We are the co-founders of Mave Chez, a luxury ergonomic slipper brand. What's great, we actually get to wear a product. It's wonderful.
It is. As we all saw, that we've all had a fuck up or 3 in our lives. And we have had many, and we're here to share a series of fuck ups that we've had over the past 14 years together. But truly, fuck ups for us, we really call them massive learnings. And like the dictionary definition, I don't like that either. We really want to change it to everyone kind of feeling like their fuck ups are huge learnings, because they really are. So hopefully you can learn with us tonight and take something back with you.
All right, let's go back to the very beginning of our journey. Dani and I met 14 years ago at the University of Toronto. Any alumni? Woo. Did you know that U of T has a dance team? You probably didn't. And also, we got 0 funding, but Dani and I actually met at the auditions for the dance team 14 years ago. It was like one of those kindred moments. We locked eyes at the auditions. I did like a big jeté. Can't really do it that great anymore, but that's okay. And it was just like we were best friends super fast. We ended up becoming the co-captains of the team. And like I said, we got 0 funding, so we had to do fundraisers like bake sales, pub nights at the Brunny, if you remember that place, woo! And like lots of other creative ways to raise funds for our dance team that we were so passionate about. So it was actually there that we realized we had a real knack for building community and running events. And we actually launched 2 event-related businesses together a few years later. So we were running these 2 event businesses for almost a decade. Pandemic hits. Just gonna fast forward through the story to get to the nitty-gritty. We had to make a super duper quick pivot. With no in-person events like Marsha, we were really impacted. So we decided to focus on one of our businesses, which is called City Moguls. It was an entrepreneur community. So we pivoted the business online and started doing some mastermind mentorship programs and online networking events during the pandemic, and it was going pretty well.
And Vic and I had always, just backstory, had always wanted to create a product together. We were always really passionate about building something that was physical, that people could use, especially creating like a brand for women. And so it felt like COVID was the perfect time to explore this, because our events were no more. And after a lot of research and development, we realized there was actually no slipper on the market designed for a woman's body that was ergonomically designed and also chic and stylish. And so we were like, aha, let's try this. And we leaned in and started working on this project together. And then I got pregnant. And it was actually me getting pregnant that led me to think, gosh, if I don't do this, and if I don't create these amazing slippers that could help so many people, I will be doing a disservice to the world. So we were like, let's lean in, and we just knew that there was something there.
So while we were in this ideation and research phase for Mave Chez, we were building that first prototype for our dream slipper, which, as many of you, if you're in product, know takes a very, very long time. And Dani was really focused on the product. She was very passionate about that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to continue to operate our other business, City Moguls. At the time, we had 250 paying members. They were paying a membership fee. They were getting events, mentorship, mastermind groups. And I felt really obligated to keep running that community. And as I'm sure you can tell, we're really good friends and basically wives. And honestly, it's true. Honestly, I started feeling really resentful to Dani, if I'm gonna get super vulnerable with you. We were resentful to one another because she was like, why aren't you helping me build the product? And I'm like, why aren't you helping me run our other business? And it was a huge rift for us. I couldn't understand why she was willing to let our first baby go, like City Moguls. I thought it was like the most amazing thing, and we were creating so much impact. So this was definitely one of the hardest phases in our journey. It was the first time we didn't really see eye to eye and like share that same vision, and it was really hard time.
Yeah.
And she was also a newborn mom, so it was just like it was a lot.
Yeah, and honestly, as entrepreneurs, like one of the hardest things to do is to be like, this business isn't working anymore, and to actually say to yourselves, like, we need to cut the cord. And it's really hard because it's like your baby. It's one of the things that you've built and you've worked so hard to build. And so when we were, experiencing like major burnout, major resentment, we were like, we have to rip the Band-Aid off and we have to go full force on one of these businesses. And we've both felt at that time that Mave Chez could really take off, like a really cool e-commerce business, building a brand around women. And we just had to actually tell our City Moguls community that we were closing, which was like a really big deal at the time. And we knew we had to accept that people were gonna be disappointed with us because they had paid money to be a part of this program. And so it was one of the hardest decisions we ever had to make. And that was pretty much like our first fuck up, because we were like, oh shoot, we didn't realize that we have like to reimburse people and they're gonna ask for their money back. And like, we're on this other journey already. And it was so tough at that time to understand what to do. But really, like, our biggest lesson from this, the massive learning from this, was you have to focus on one thing at a time, because it led to so much burnout and so much resentment. And so when you're doing too many things at once, it just doesn't work. So, we decided to just pull the trigger and go full in on Mave Chez.
This brings us to fuck up number 2. So now Dani and I are all in on Mave Chez. We got a ton of advice early on in our journey that we should do a Kickstarter campaign to launch our product. Anyone done a Kickstarter campaign before? Yeah. Kickstarter doesn't help at all, by the way. They do not. And we learned that. So we spent like 6 months building momentum. We had like literally one pair. That was the only pair of slippers we had. We had one working prototype. We went to every event, every trade show, everything we could possibly do. We went to Collision. We did all of the things, and we built like our own pre-sale list. And it was exactly 2 years ago today, Dani and I hit the launch button on this Kickstarter campaign in a hotel room. We stayed in that hotel room for 3 days together, and we hit our Kickstarter goal, which was $25K, in less than 24 hours, and raised over $50K through the campaign. So we were pretty proud of ourselves for that. But wait,
Don't applaud yet.
Don't
No, just
applaud
kidding.
yet.
No, it was great. We're really super proud. It's important to share the wins as well, in the midst of all the fuck ups. But the super hard work then began. It was to complete our prototype, actually get these out to our customers, and then our factory was like, we're delayed. And then the next week, the factory was like, we're delayed again. And it was like delay after delay.
So it was about 8 months actually. It was 8 months after our Kickstarter campaign. Shipment was finally here. We fulfilled our 350 orders for our Kickstarter backers. We were like so excited, packing the boxes, getting them out to everybody, eagerly awaiting their feedback, because that's a big thing with Kickstarter campaigns, is you can get feedback from your backers because they're getting a pretty hefty discount on your product. I still can't believe this. Literally more than half, I would say even almost all of them, every single pair of slippers was too big.
Like a full size.
Like a full size. Like, they're like, these are really cute, but they're like flopping off my feet. Like, they could not wear them. We're like, cool. They fit my feet. Anyways, it was really bad. And basically, we were so embarrassed because a lot of these people were like our friends, our family, like our mentors, our investors. And we're like, yeah, this was intentional. Anyways, what we had to do was get all of the pairs back, had to ship them out new pairs, a size down.
Spent a ton of money on shipping that we
Spent a
did
ton of money.
not budget for.
And, you know, it was a huge learning lesson for us. And the biggest thing we realized is like we were rushing our factory. We were like, we need to get these done. And if we had just like been a little more patient and done like a bit more sizing with foot models, we probably would have figured out that they were fitting a lot of people large. So we rushed a little too much into it, but.
And spent a ton of money. Did I say that already? Spent a ton of money. And again, like, you just don't know about the money that you're gonna spend. Like, on your P&L, like, if anyone has a business here, just like have a line item that says miscellaneous, like an extra $1,000 a month, like maybe $20,000 a month. But yeah, the silver lining actually with this story is that it actually led us to innovate. And what we realized was that we could design something which we now call our dual insole technology. So we actually now have in all of our slippers a second insole which actually accommodates for a half size. And then we also learned that it also accommodates for swelling. Like a lot of women's feet swell like on flights, on your period, and when you're going through menopause and when you're pregnant. So we were like, oh, wow, this is amazing. Like we can actually turn this into something really big. So instead of kind of sulking for too long, we were like, let's just turn this into an innovation, see what we could do. Okay, leads us to fuck up number 3. Got an amazing opportunity to be on the hit show Dragon's Den. It was 2 days after we launched our online store, which was kind of crazy. Very, very grateful for that opportunity. But after it aired, we experienced this influx of orders, and we were really doing well in Canada, and we were so excited. And so many people were like, okay, it's time, you should go to the States. It's time to go to the US, and you gotta get into the US market. And these were like a lot of like experts in our, you know, in our field and mentors around us that were like, you gotta go to the US. And we were like, it feels a little early, but people are telling us that we need to go to the US, so let's give it a go. And so we decided to run an experiment and completely stop running our ads in Canada, which seems ridiculous in hindsight, because they were doing fine. And we spared some cash to focus on the US. And so we pumped $10,000 into ads for a 1-month period into US ads, which for us is like a lot of money. And it was a huge risk. And it was because everyone kept saying, go to the US, so we did.
Do you think it worked? Think we did well in the US? Safe to say it was a massive flop. Like, I think from the 10,000 that we spent on ads, we maybe saw like 5 sales, which is, yeah, brutal. Very low ROAS, very low ROAS. We were, you know, thank you so much. So, you know, this was one of those lessons where we were like, we were just on the hamster wheel, taking advice and telling, even though our guts were like, oh, but like Canadian ads are doing really well, like we should just keep running those. All the mentors, you got to go to the US, girls, it's time to go, you got to start running ads. And we really should have just listened to our guts. It was a huge learning lesson for us. The good thing that came out of it was we realized that like Canada is the best testing ground. So we're still very much, you know, a year and a half into our business, still learning how to test ads properly. The good news was, unlike a lot of our old fuck-ups, we cut the experiment short. We pivoted really, really fast because we could have kept spending $10,000 a month on US ads that weren't working. But, you know, again, we felt a little embarrassed, but we really realized like this was a cool experiment, but we're obviously not ready to be running ads in the US. And, you know, fuck all the mentors for this one because they didn't really help.
Truly, honestly, as an entrepreneur, like you get so much advice, you have so many calls and like so many amazing people around you. And at the end of the day, you kind of just need to listen to your gut and you know what's right at the end of the day. So yeah, we really felt it with this one. Which leads us to fuck up number 4. So Vic and I went about 6 months without taking salaries and sometimes still don't take a salary. And we were patiently waiting for our next investor check to come through so we could order more inventory, which is like our biggest headache in the entire universe, inventory. And yeah, we were selling through inventory after Dragon's Den faster than we could keep it. And so we started implementing pre-orders on our site. But what that meant was people were pre-ordering product that A, we didn't have, and B, we didn't know when we were going to actually deliver it, which was a stupid thing that we did, and a huge fuck up because we couldn't actually tell people when they were going to get their orders. So we were dealing with some angry customers and some people that were frustrated who had made pre-orders, and some people started canceling their orders. But then we finally got a check-in at the right time, and we're like, okay, we're gonna make it. And then we get a video on WhatsApp from our factory in Brazil that our factory is completely underwater. Southern Brazil was hit with massive floods. I don't know if anyone saw this in the spring in the news. It was pretty devastating, actually.
We don't have like the traumatic videos, but they literally, it was like a horror movie for us because they're sending us videos of them like pulling out like our beautiful, cute like slippers, like the leathers, and they're like covered in dirt. And we're like, well, maybe there's a way to clean them. I don't know. Like, we're just like, it was literally the worst thing that could have happened to us happened 4 months ago. This was the recent future. This was in April. So, you know, this part of our story obviously isn't all of our fault. It's a lot of it was uncontrollable, and there was really nothing we could do. Like, and I'm telling you, the majority of our day, we ordered probably 1,200 pairs of slipper. More than half of those slippers were completely destroyed, like gone. Like they weren't going to be able to make it. And because of the technology in our slippers, it takes them like 60 to 90 days to order the materials and create more. So it was like, we have to accept this. Nothing's going to change. So, you know, I think this is one of the biggest things that we as entrepreneurs face every single day, is so much is out of our control. And we really hope that you learn this and remind yourself and remember us saying this to you, that the one thing you can control is how you react in situations. I think our entire journey prepped us for this moment, because really, truly, Victoria and Dani, as 24-year-olds, would have probably had a meltdown, thrown in the towel, and been like, that's it, I'm done, I'm going corporate. We were cool as cucumbers. We were like, okay, this is what it's gonna happen. It's devastating, but we're gonna reach out to our customers. We're gonna hope they understand, which most of them did. And, you know, there wasn't much we could do other than over-communicate with our customers.
Yeah. You know, and our biggest fuck up here, and it continues to be our biggest fuck up time and time again, currently we're fucking up on it right now as we're here, which is inventory management. It is so difficult. We're struggling hard. Like, we're just up here being honest and humble about it. Like, we don't talk about this that much. We're always like on stages and talking to people about like the glamorous parts of our journey. But like, seriously, this is so hard on us, and we struggle every day with trying to forecast and figure out, because we're not getting orders from like a big retailer who's telling us what they need. We're like hoping and praying that what we order gets sold, and hoping and praying we can find the cash to get it. So it's really, honestly, this journey is so humbling. And I think everyone that you see that's like talking at these events, that's like, we've made it and we're doing great things. Like, we just announced today that we got on Nordstrom. So everyone out there thinks like, wow. I mean, yes, thank you.
But what you also don't know is, I'm like, okay, so is that check coming in tomorrow? Because we have to literally empty our bank account. There it goes to zero again. And we really hope and pray that like we're gonna have a great holiday season. Like, it is terrifying every single day. And Marsha is so right. It's the highlights that people see on social, but we really have no idea what goes on behind the scenes.
So yeah, we just want to say thank you for letting us share some of our fuck ups. Honestly, we could do like an entire talk about this for like 3 hours. Like, we have so many fuck ups that we've dealt with investors. We could have a sidebar chat. If anyone wants to talk about Dragon's Den, we can also have a sidebar chat. But seriously, like, as entrepreneurs, you're doing amazing, taking risks every day. Whatever you're doing for your side hustle, like, fucking go, congrats. Honestly, like, everyone that's doing things to like make impact and make things that are making the world a better place, like, good for you. Fuck yeah. Thank you for letting us share.
Sorry, mini fuck up. I was waiting for another mic, but I figured I'd just come up and use yours. Thank you so much. Wait, don't go anywhere. We have Q&A.
Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That was incredible. You guys are like in the arena every day, just making shit happen. It's really cool. So we're gonna open it up for some Q&A. I'm sure you all have some really great questions for Dani and Victoria.